Welcome to opening day 2029 for your Oregon Athletics, where they will take on the Cleveland Guardians at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Pretty much the same lineup for your A's as was the lineup in 2028 that opened the season. Mitchell Parker will get the start for the A's today. But Cleveland has some new additions to their team. As you look there at the 29 projected leaders, Jose DePaula, OPS. But there is one of their big additions. In fact, he is one of their best players now on their roster, Tyler Glasnow. They signed him to a 1-year contract. There are his numbers from last year with the Dodgers. They wanted to beef up their pitching, and that's exactly what they did. And Glasnow is now their ace. All right, if it's down the middle, guys, I am swinging. Oh, sorry, guys. That is my bad. I think I was just hoping it would be down the middle. But our generational player, as we like to call him, Josh Lewis, is back up starting the season with the A's, just like he ended it with the A's. After quite a stint in AAA last year, though, where he had to get some things right, and he improved significantly, just got better, and is a better hitter and a better overall player than he was last year at this time. So here's your starting lineup against righties anyway. Roman Anthony in there in the 4th spot. You will be surprised to see where he sits against lefties, though. Even though he had a fantastic season last year, he regressed mightily against lefties. Not just power, but contact. And we have too many good hitters in the lineup to leave him in the 3, 4, or 5 spot. So I believe he hits in the 7th spot against lefties. And in reality, if you look at the numbers, he should really hit in the 8th spot. But you kind of can't do that to your arguably your best player. But I think anyone who saw the regression that he had last year can understand against lefties. It was, I wouldn't say breathtaking, but it kind of was a punch to the gut, I guess. And that was a great pitch to Jacob Wilson by Glasnow. There's the opening day AL playoff predictions that have the A's at 94 and 68. Luis Ariz hitting 3-hole. But that is just a fly out. Luis Ariz is hitting best when he hits it on the ground. And you guys are going to get to see the one-time Athletic in Lawrence Butler. There is Mitchell Parker with a 3.90 ERA last year and a 1.20 whip. And there's Butler with 20 home runs last year. Obviously, we made a huge trade to trade Lawrence Butler to the Guardians. Bazana was the centerpiece of that deal. It has worked out great for both teams. Angel Janeo was the B prospect included in that deal, and he looks to be a great player. Let's see if Wilson can throw him out. Oh my goodness. Did you guys see that arm? That was so sick, man. That was sick. That's when you have almost 100 arm in this game. That's what happens. I'm telling you, middle of the field, you have good defensive players, and you're gonna get outs. You're gonna win games. This guy has been around the block and has been with so many teams in this dynasty. Rosarena, but he is now, of course, with the Guardians. He actually played for the Cubs last year in this franchise, but he seems to be making 1 or 2 year stops everywhere he goes. Here's Vlad Jr. He had kind of a down year last year. Hit 253, but still 26 home runs, but only 73 RBIs. But is still signed to a pretty long-term deal with the Guardians. Ooh, will they call that an error? I doubt it. Let's see what they called that. They called that a hit. So I just wanted to see because I would suspect that at shortstop, well, maybe not, but uh, if he wants to win a Gold Glove, he probably better have near 1,000% fielding percentage. And if they counted that as an error, that obviously would make a dent in that Gold Glove pursuit. Here's a former A as well, Shea Langoliers. But in this franchise, he hasn't been an A for many years, but he's made a career out of hitting bombs pretty much. He hits about 20 home runs a year, and that's good enough to not only stay in the lineup for a team, but to hit 4-hole. So Mitchell Parker was 16 pitches this inning. 3-2 count to Langoliers, whose sister, if you happen to watch the Women's College World Series this year in real life, 2025, with the $1 million Texas Tech pitcher, Shea Langoliers' sister played second base for Texas Tech. That's right. That's your fact of the day. So Noel hits an absolute bomb to get the scoring going for the Guardians and put them up 3-0. So unfortunately, Parker kind of made his own bed, and he had to lay in it, uh, by allowing those guys on. Um, and with 2 outs, of course, he could have been out of the inning, but you don't get out of the inning, and the next guy comes up and hits a 3-run home run, and you find yourself down 3-0. And if you listen to any baseball content creator that says that you're down 0-3, no offense to them. In fact, I may watch them religiously, but just know that they probably never played baseball, probably never at a high level, but probably never played baseball in their life, because it is the A's are down 3-0 or 3-0. And of course, I obviously probably say things that don't sound right, I'm sure. So it all evens out. But just some things I noticed as a former collegiate baseball player and played baseball throughout my life, of course. Did play some semi-pro baseball. But anyway, here's Roman Anthony, arguably our best player. If you take out Luis Ariz from our starting lineup, our average age has to be 22 or something like that. I mean, I don't think you would find that in the history of Major League Baseball, a starting lineup that young. And if you took a year off of that, off for every one of those guys for last year, I would suspect that you couldn't find a lineup that young that won 110 games in a season. So they definitely overachieved last year. In some ways, they overachieved. In some ways, they're just superiorly talented players that Commissioner Manfred kind of handed to us by his mandate to Nike and Phil Knight. So Phil Knight is always appreciative of Commissioner Manfred's moves, considering the Oregon A's, as they tend to benefit him and his organization. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Nike commercial last episode. Christian Campbell hitting 5-hole today is struck out on a great pitch by Glasnow. Glasnow's second K of the game. Bazana now up. If not for Commissioner Manfred, Bazana would be most likely playing second base. And this would be his home right here in Cleveland at Progressive Field. But instead, he plays for the Oregon Athletics, and he drops bombs for him, folks. 107.5 exit velo. Bazana hits his first home run of the year. That was a tank. There you go, Cleveland. Thanks for trading me away. I bet that feels good. Kapala, the rookie of the year last year. He overtook Dalton Rushing, if I remember right. And he gets a base hit to left field. That one came off the bat oddly, but it landed perfectly. And he stands at first base, hitting 1,000 on the season. Here's Dalton Rushing. Almost a former battery mate of Tyler Glasnow, a former LA Dodger. So we have to go a number of episodes back. In fact, it was the opening day episode from last year against the Washington Nationals. You may remember it by them wearing the Montreal Expos uniforms. And their leadoff hitter had an astounding number of caught stealings. Let's take another look at Bazana's home run to bring the Athletics to within 2. It's a pretty good pitch, but he went down and got it. Here's Anthony Volpe, former Yankee, but has spent some time now with the Guardians in this franchise. But anyway, I was just astounded when we played the Nationals that their leadoff hitter had the season before had been caught 29 times, and a great job by Rushing to stop that ball and throw out the runner. Great defensive play. But anyway, he had been caught 29 times the previous season, and I frankly didn't remember, seeing anybody being caught that many times stealing. And a good friend of mine, a good friend of the program, Dogie, shout out to him. I appreciate him so much, but he actually sent me the actual, I guess, single season leaders and record holders for caught stealing in a season. And number 1 was in 1982 by Ricky Henderson. You guys know him. He was caught 42 times. And another hit by Cleveland. Um, the number 2, who sits in second place, I guess, is Ty Cobb with 38 caught stealings in 1915. And then just a few others of interest was Ty Cobb in fourth with 34 caught stealings in 1912. Um, good throw by our third baseman. Lou Brock in 1974 was caught 33 times. But and then Dogie shared with me that that Young, that was his name, the Nationals leadoff hitter, that he would be tied for 26th for most times caught stealing in the season. So, Dogie, I appreciate you finding out that info for us. That is fascinating, and I just appreciate it. I'm a little surprised that he's not a little bit closer to the record with 29 caught stealings, but he wasn't, you know. So some of those guys got caught stealing a lot, but if I remember right, Ricky Henderson, from the numbers that I've looked at in the early 80s, mid 80s, he was stealing over 100 bases. And so to get caught that many times, I'm not completely surprised. So after that story, we have the bases loaded, and we have two of our long relievers, Medina and Ginn, warming up in the bullpen. Vlad hits that hard and deep, and that's off the wall. And 3 runs will score. So Vlad hits a 3-run double. So Parker's day is over, folks. Not a great start for Parker and the Athletics. Medina will try to come in and shut things down and give the A's a chance at winning this game. But I will say this again, that if you did watch the Women's College World Series and you saw Shea Langelier's sister, you would remember her. So if you missed uh, the College World Series where Texas Tech played Texas, I think you missed out. But it was kind of cool that she was related to a major league baseball player. But she was pretty all right herself, and a good player as well. So Noel comes back up to the plate. Only hit 204 last year, but already has a 3-run home run to start off the season. But that's kind of what he does, is hit home runs for you. You're never going to get too high of an average. Fouls off that 98-mile-per-hour fastball. Medina's an interesting guy. At the start of this franchise, I had hoped that he might develop into a little bit more for us than just a long reliever slash seldom used middle reliever. And he's done okay. He has decent numbers, but I believe he has B potential. So, and I don't know where he sits in the 80s, but I had hoped that he could be our closer or setup man or something like that. And here we'll see Vlad's 3-run home run or 3-run double again. Here's Janeo. His numbers were just okay last year, but if you remember, he didn't have the number of at-bats to qualify as a rookie. So he actually is a rookie this year. And we have, just to remind viewers, maybe that are just watching for the first time, we've won the Rookie of the Year the last 3 years in a row. So Josh Lewis is ineligible to win it since he had over 150 at bats last year. So our only chance to four-peat would be for Janeo to have a great rookie season. So all of our contact hitters seem to be hitting it in the air, and our power hitters are striking out or hitting it on the ground, it seems like. And there's an example right there. So we're already to the middle of the third. One of the guys that I wanted to mention that the Guardians had picked up, especially for those that watched the Washington Nationals opening day game, is Brandon Lau. And Brett Wisely is actually starting for Cleveland, but Lau is an 81 overall in the game. So I would be surprised if Wisely is much more than an 81. But he's getting the starting nod today. But yeah, Brandon Lau was in the middle of that Nationals lineup, and if I remember his stats right, he hit 17 or 18 home runs and hit 260 and had close to 600 at bats for the Nationals last year. So that was another good pickup by Cleveland. So they have depth at second, and I believe Lau plays first too, and I'm not sure about Wisely. But another bad start for the A's with Medina walking Wisely. And I believe it did say that Wisely was signed from the Giants in the off season. So he's a new addition to this roster as well. In fact, along with Glass now, they did also add Jose Barrios from the Blue Jays. He had spent a number of years with the Blue Jays, had just above a 3 ERA with them last year, had a solid season, and I believe was an 85 overall as Volpe strikes out. Um, but they were able to, or they'll be able to slot those guys in 1-2 in the rotation and move down their 1, 2, and 3 starters down to 3, 4, and 5, which is always a huge help. And then in the bullpen, they have Cade Smith, who last year had close to 40 holds for them. But I would be shocked if he's not their closer this year. He just has too good of an ERA. Oh, and that gets past rushing. Wow. That's a rarity right there. Rushing, well, it's called a wild pitch, so that's not on rushing, but that's a ball that rushing normally stops. And they did pick up David Bednar from Tampa Bay. He's been around the block in this series, but he's kind of reclaimed his career that he had lost. Had an ERA under 3 for Tampa Bay and had about 30 holds, I believe. So they have a very good setup guy now and a very good closer, whoever they choose to use. So they not only added 2 great starters, but they added to their bullpen as well to go along with their already lethal lineup. Nice play by Arise. If I saw that right, I was more looking at the pitcher, but if that was Arise, he made a very good play. Arise is an interesting cat, if you will, because he hit 300 last year, 17 home runs, but his power is so low, and yet his contact is basically 99 against righties or lefties. And so you would think he would hit about 350 every year with maybe 8 home runs or something like that. So it's a little disappointing when he hits just 300 and 20 home runs. I mean, I'll take the home runs, but it'd be nice if he hit 350 with 20 home runs. So I'm not quite sure, why he doesn't hit in the low to mid 300s. It's a little bit of a mystery, and especially where he hits in our lineup. He's pretty surrounded by really good hitters. Anthony, an all-star last year, of course. Anthony hits righties so well that Arozarena catches up to that one in deep left center field. Christian Campbell steps to the plate. I think the only complaint, if you had one, about Christian Campbell is the next thing in his development would be to get his average up from the 250 range or below. He seems to be getting better in every category, but he still think hit 250 last year. So hopefully that's something he's working on. And he's still a very young guy. So I very much expect him to raise that in the future. And a good hit, good start right there. Wasn't hit hard, but it was hit perfectly. And that's baseball for you. You can hit it hard and it be an out, but you can hit it softly and you can have a base hit. So Bazzano with a bomb. He is 1-for-1 on the season so far. Bazzano was one that I believe improved his average last year from the previous season. He hit close to 280 last year. I'd be interested to know your guys' expectations of the A's this year. Is that Valera? They make some good catches out there. But your guys' expectations of the A's, they won 110 games last year, but were quickly put out of the playoffs by the Rangers in 3 games. So how will they respond with much the same starting five? And lineup for sure. We have seen Mitchell Parker get roughed up, and so now it's time to really focus on the A's hitters for an inning or two. But that was a great hit right there. Rushing hits that pretty hard. the opposite way. Oh, rushing crushes that up the middle. 107 exit velo on that. So he hit that sucker hard to put runners at first and second for Angel Janeo. So here is a opportunity for him to start his Rookie of the Year campaign. Ooh, and he swings at one just outside the zone. And yes, Janeo, another former Guardian. And his Rookie of the Year campaign will not start on that at bat. As Glass now just outclasses him with filthy stuff. I did see scrolling at the bottom. It does look like the A's minor league system is again number one. Josh Lewis hits that hard, but again, it's in the air, and no one will. The runner from second won't advance to third. Josh Lewis, a true contact hitter. That's at least the second time he's hit it in the air. I have no idea why he can't drive that into the gap, you know? Maybe that's Glasnow's greatness, you know? And Jacob Wilson is going to hit into, well, what I thought would be a double play, but there were two outs. So that will just be the third out of the fifth inning. So I think we all thought that we would be here to see the A's knock some pitcher around. But so far, Glasnow is holding class on how to pitch. Other than Bazana's home run, the A's have really done nothing. So Rise with a full count. And what an eye by Luis Rise. So Rise stands at first base with Roman Anthony up. Like I said, he hits righties extremely well. That's always a little surprising to me when I see that Roman Anthony was a second round pick. And Roman Anthony hits it deep, but it looks like Butler is the one that tracks it down for out number 1. So now Campbell to the plate, 1 for 2 on the day. Campbell, a Gold Glove winner at third base, which is not only a surprise because of his young age, but some people forget that he was, when he was traded from Boston to Oregon, that he was asked to move from shortstop to third base. So he had very little time to work on becoming a great third baseman, and he put in the work, and it ended up in a Gold Glove for him. So great for him and great for the A's. Yeah, he has some pretty filthy stuff, does Glass now. He's got nasty break on his pitches. Then he can come back with a 96 to 98 mile per hour fastball. And that was 94. Cleveland will be a team to be reckoned with this year because they do have the hitting in place, it appears. And now they have just added a 1 and 2 starter. Uh, moving their 1 and 2 starters down to the third and fourth starters for Cleveland. So they should be really tough to beat this year. Uh, Medina has pitched so well up until that point. So they finally take Glasnow out and bring in Tim Herron, 3.63 ERA, 1.40 WHIP last year. Jose DePaula with 2 singles on the day. And that one is skied to left field. But Noel, or is that a Rosarena? I believe it is. He records the out for the Guardians. Dalton Rushing steps to the plate. That is one of the things about our lineup is we do have our share of lefties. and that's a little scary if we come up against a rotation with either a number of lefties in that rotation or a bullpen full of lefties. That really could shut us down. Janeo, a switch hitter, I believe. He does hit that one pretty hard, but very foul. The Guardians up 7-1. We're in the top of the seventh, and Cleveland seems to have this one under wraps. So full count on Janeo, and he walks. And that brings up Josh Lewis. Be nice to see Lewis drive something. And he does the opposite of that on that pitch. I debated on not having Josh Lewis lead off because he's a pretty good clutch hitter. He's in the 80s, maybe low 80s, but I thought about moving him down in the lineup. The problem is he is so fast. Excuse me. He's so fast that, and he has such good contact that he makes for a perfect leadoff hitter. If he does, makes contact and steals bases. So Wilson up to the plate. We do have an advantage here, lefty versus righty. Wilson fouls that off to go down in the count, 0-1. There are two runners on. It seems kind of familiar, but two outs for the A's. And Wilson hits that deep, but that will be foul. So he may have just missed a 3-run home run right there. He put a charge into that for sure. Ooh, and he goes down on a nasty pitch from Heron. So again, the Athletics cannot do anything with runners on base. And the Guardians are still in full control of this game. So we will simulate this to the end. So the Guardians do, in fact, win, rushing did hit a solo home run late in the game. But frankly, Tyler Glasnow just pitched a gem of a game, and Mitchell Parker just had a really rough game. Uh, he just didn't pitch well, and but it's one of 162, so we can't keep our heads down for long. We have to be ready to pounce next time out and win us some games and hopefully win us a World Series. If not this year, soon. But I appreciate everybody for watching, especially the subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and that noti bell, and smash the like button. Leave a comment if you'd like. Always love hearing from you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys next episode, where we find out. We'll go a little bit deeper into the season and see how the A's are faring. So hopefully you'll join us soon. But take care, guys. Know that you're made for a purpose. And I will talk to you guys in about 3 days. So take care.